You know, I have a Biesemeyer fence, and I had to leave for a while with a crack on the cheek, on the runner, and that's once in a while it gets like stuck or bounces off of those little cracks on the fence. And I was wondering, how can I change that? And I looked everywhere, and nobody knows or nobody posts any reason. I tried to buy the part, but they said it's discontinued and you cannot buy it. So I decided to figure it out and try to change it myself. I started by scraping the formica of the plywood, and I'll show you the rest of it. Now I'm going to start removing the old formica from the, and so all I do is just shove the scraper underneath and slowly keep on peeling it out. As you can see, slowly keeps on peeling the thing out. That's easier, more easier and impossible. I might have to hit the scraper with the back of my hands a couple of times on the trunk course, or maybe hit it with a mallet. But for the most part, this it'll go fairly easy. There. Okay, I'll bring you back when I clean it up. Okay, after I peel all the old formica with the spatula, what I'm going to do, and I'm going to start taking all these screws. They have some self-drill, self-tapping screws in here. All you can do is just pop them loose. Then you take this board and run it through the. You can either do two things. You can run it through the drum sander and make it flat again, and use the same holes and the same screw. Or you can turn it upside down like that, so you have a fresh chica here to glue the new formica. What I did on the other side of this fence, I did this exact bit, but I had to drill new holes with a recess, so it'll take the head of the screw and put it inside the wood. So, or you can run these through a drum sander if you have one, make it very flat again. Because sometimes it takes a little bit of veneer away, and you don't want to glue the new formica when it's got wows on the wood. So I'm going to do one or two things. So run it through a drum sander, or I can switch it around. But I think I'm going to try the drum sander, so I don't have to put more holes in the wood. Let's show that process. Okay, after that, all that, I decided to put this back. So I have these screws out here. They're self-tapping, self-threading. It came with it, but I have a box full of those things. You know, you never have enough of those, enough screws. Then what I do is put the drill motor on high. There you go. So after putting all the screws and the vinyl on the piece of plywood, we're going to glue the new Formica, and then we're going to router it to conform to the edges. See, we're coming together now. Let me put the rest of the screws. I don't want to bore you with everything, and I'll bring you back. Okay, now we are going to cut a piece of the Formica. I sandwich it between two pieces of wood. I'm going to score it, and I'm going to get it ready for cutting. To do that, I'm going to score it with the what do you call it? A bolt cutter. A bolt cutter that I cut the tip off. Cut the tip off to square it up somehow, and then I'm going to score it. Going to score it like that. After finished scoring, all I did was bend it like that, and I just bend it, and the strip comes off where you score it. After finished scoring, all I did was bend it like that, and I just bend it, and the strip comes off where you score it. Okay, now what you have here, I just put some water-based contact cement on the plywood, and I put water-based contact cement also on the back side of the Formica. I gotta wait a minute or two to get it to get tacky, and then attach the two pieces. It'll take a few minutes before it gets tacky, and that'll be it. When it becomes mostly transparent, I put it on. Don't wait too long, otherwise the glue gets hardened and it's more difficult to attach it. I use a piece of wood to run it back and forth, and that seems to be the best. You're supposed to have a J roller or some kind of a tool like that, but I don't have one. And I build all my table saw and everything else with Formica, and you know, I slicked up my table saw and everything else with the Formica and using my method without having any need for a J roller. Okay, I have the two surfaces married, and what I do, I had a piece of wood out here, and what I do is run it back and forth really hard, pressing really hard to seat it, to get it glued. And you run it very hard back and forth to seat it. You can do that for the longest time. You run it, and when you are sure you got it all cured and seated and it won't come loose again, that's when you stop. But you got to make sure you run it and push right down as far as much as you can. Put all your weight on it, and you run it, and you run it, and you run it. Okay, when you're done and you feel like it's not going to seat any better, that's when you're done. Well, I just used the router. To clean the edges and trim the edges along the perimeter, so it'll be just as good as new. You can see. Let me go the other way because the light from the outside might interfere. See? Now it's all cleaned up. I didn't have to change the T-molding at the end, but I just trim a little bit, using the T-molding. So the job is completed. So I have no cheek plates on the Biesemeyer, and considering that you couldn't buy them, probably would be the better solution. If you could buy it, probably will be about $50, and a sheet of Formica is about $40. So I still have Formica for many more times, and it may turn out cheaper. Sure, you have to do a little bit of labor, but even if you bought those cheeks, you still have to glue it after you put the plywood against the square tubing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the job is done. I got my Biesemeyer fence all ready to perform as brand new. You can see it's got new cheek plates on both sides. Brand new. Brand new cheek plates on both sides. That is going to make my life a lot easier. You don't have to watch for a hang-ups. Well, the crack were. See? Excellent. Look like brand new. Even better. So that's it. You can do it. All it takes is a little bit of what do you call it? Formica, and a little bit of time. That's all. Formica and time, and your ability, which is not much, It's just be able to prepare the sub base and the plywood behind it, and then glue the Formica on there, and then trim it with a router. All right, guys. Thank you very much. A lot of people posed that question, and not many people had an answer for it. Okay, I hope you have an idea how can you do it. It doesn't have to be exactly like me, but it's an idea on how do you replace that, especially when those parts are not available. Thank you very much. Have a great day.